Eggnog is a holiday classic, whether you sip it spiked or straight from the carton. Every year, Americans enjoy millions of gallons of this creamy drink, making it a must-have for festive gatherings. But have you ever wondered what's actually in eggnog? If it really contains eggs, or how it magically fills every store shelf right before Christmas? Let's uncover the story behind this beloved seasonal treat and what makes it so special. The origins of eggnog are a bit of a mystery, but most roads lead back to England. Some say the term nog might come from grog, referring to a strong drink, while others believe it stems from a type of wooden cup called a noggin. Either way, early versions of eggnog were likely sipped as far back as the 1600s, evolving into the rich and cozy drink we know today. But what is it actually? Eggnog is a thick, sweet, and slightly custardy dairy-based drink. It's traditionally made with milk, cream, sugar, egg yolks, and spices like nutmeg and cinnamon. Some like to give it a boozy twist with rum, bourbon, or brandy, while others prefer it alcohol-free, letting the flavors shine on their own. Think of it as a spiced dessert in liquid form, comforting and indulgent. When you grab a carton of eggnog from the store, you're getting a slightly different version than the homemade kind. That is because commercial eggnog uses thickeners like gelatin to create that signature texture without relying too heavily on eggs and cream. For those who prefer a plant-based option, vegan eggnog swaps out milk and eggs for alternatives like almond, coconut, or soy milk. But for this traditional eggnog journey, we're sticking to the familiar, creamy version that everyone knows and loves. Once all the ingredients arrive at the factory, the mixing process begins. First, the milk is separated into two components, skim milk and heavy cream. The cream is then carefully blended back with the milk in the right proportions to achieve the smooth and rich texture that makes eggnog so special. If you ever tried a lighter version of eggnog, you might notice that more skim milk is used in the mixture, giving it a thinner consistency. Next, the eggs are pasteurized to ensure they're safe to consume. Pasteurization involves heating the eggs to a specific temperature to kill any harmful bacteria that could be present. After pasteurizing, the eggs are dried before mixed with the rest of the ingredients. In the US, FDA regulations require that eggnog contains no more than 1% egg yolk solids in the final product. This helps keep the eggnog safe and ensures it has the right balance of ingredients. In Canada, however, eggnog must contain real eggs to meet regulations. Once the milk and eggs are properly combined, liquid sugar is added to sweeten the mixture. Most brands use refined cane sugar, while others might opt for brown sugar to add a richer flavor to the eggnog. Now that the base mixture is ready, it's time to infuse it with the familiar holiday spices that make eggnog so festive. Nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and sometimes allspice are added to the mixture, either in powdered form or as liquid extracts. These spices provide that warm, comforting flavor that many associate with the holiday season. Some high-end brands take the extra step of boiling the eggnog with spices to ensure that the flavors are thoroughly infused. This method adds a more traditional touch to the process, making the eggnog taste even more homemade. After the eggnog is flavored, it is frothed to give it a light, creamy texture. The frothed eggnog is then carefully packaged into bottles or cartons. But before the eggnog is sealed up, there's one last step: adding alcohol. While alcohol is optional, many people like to spike their eggnog with rum, brandy, bourbon, or whiskey. These dark spirits bring a rich, complex flavor that pairs beautifully with the sweetness of the eggnog. If you prefer a lighter, clearer spirit, vodka or flavored vodkas, like gingerbread or peppermint, are also great options. The alcohol is added in moderation, with about a quarter cup per batch of eggnog. If you prefer a non-alcoholic version, it can still be just as delightful and satisfying without any liquor. With the eggnog mixture ready and alcohol added, it's time to package the final product. This process is done on an assembly line. First, the eggnog is poured into bottles or cartons. The bottles are sealed tightly and labeled with a best before date. With all the ingredients involved and the need for pasteurization, eggnog goes through a strict quality control process before it reaches your glass. Every bottle is carefully checked for quality, taste, and safety. The cap is inspected to make sure the drink stays fresh during shipping, and the flavor is tested to ensure everything tastes just right. The pasteurization process is double-checked as well, as unpasteurized dairy can be harmful to health. Once it's passed all these tests, eggnog is ready to hit the shelves. Most eggnog is produced in the US, so getting it to stores is a straightforward process. It is shipped in refrigerated trucks to retailers across the country, with Pennsylvania being the top eggnog-producing state. Walmart is one of the biggest buyers of eggnog, stocking up for the holiday season. Eggnog has quite an interesting history, starting out as a drink for the wealthy. Originally, it was a luxury enjoyed on special occasions by aristocrats who could afford ingredients like eggs, milk, and alcohol. But by the late 1700s, eggnog made its way into America and quickly became a holiday favorite across all classes. Historical records even show that George Washington served an eggnog-like drink to guests at his estate, Mount Vernon. Being a man of wealth, Washington didn't skimp on the booze. Rum, sherry, cognac, and whiskey were common choices for mixing with eggnog. But given Washington's fondness for rum, it's likely he used that as his base. In 1826, eggnog played a role in one of the more dramatic moments in American history. Colonel Sylvanus Thayer, the superintendent of West Point, implemented strict rules that banned the purchase, storage, and consumption of alcohol. But as often happens, the cadets weren't about to let rules get in the way of their holiday cheer. Several of them decided to celebrate Christmas with a batch of alcohol-laden eggnog. What followed was a full-blown riot. The cadets clashed with military personnel, officers were assaulted, and parts of the North Barracks were vandalized. In the end, 19 cadets and 1 soldier were court-martialed, and 11 cadets were dismissed from West Point. This riot further cemented eggnog's deep roots in American culture and its role as a drink tied to the holiday season. Fast forward to today, and while eggnog might not be as hot of a topic in casual conversations as it once was, it still holds a special place in many people's holiday traditions. A small number of restaurants still offer eggnog on their menus, and we're seeing a rise in vegan eggnog, reflecting a shift toward more plant-based diets. These vegan varieties typically use almond, soy, or coconut milk as a substitute for dairy, making them accessible to those with dietary restrictions. As eggnog continues to evolve, it remains a beloved tradition for many, whether served with a shot of rum or enjoyed as a cozy, non-alcoholic drink. What started as a festive indulgence for the wealthy has become a drink that brings people together during the holidays, no matter their background or dietary preference. Whether you're sipping on traditional eggnog or a vegan version, it's clear this creamy spiced drink will always have a special place in the holiday season. Now that you know how eggnog is made, what's your favorite way to enjoy this holiday classic? Spiked or non-alcoholic? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.